On July 29th, 1994, I founded Judicial Watch to watch judges and to use the judiciary to watch over the other two branches of government. The organization has become tremendously successful over the years. I left in 2003 to run for the U.S. Senate in Florida, and when I came out, I founded Freedom Watch, which I'm currently the chairman and general counsel of. Freedom Watch does what I used to do at Judicial Watch, hard-hitting legal cases, and we had new ideas as well. Citizens' grand juries, citizens' trials, citizens' convictions, citizens' sentences, and meting out justice by the American people, because our system of government has become overwhelmingly corrupt and its legal system even more corrupt. In the next few weeks, the Senate leadership, the Democrats, Chuck Schumer, is going to try to ram through a number of additional judges, all leftist, all radical. But as I've said also in the last few episodes of our podcast, the judges that were actually rubber stamped by Donald Trump weren't very good either. They weren't at the level of the leftists that were put on the bench by the Democrats, by Biden, by Obama, and Clinton and company. But they weren't good, and they never supported the president to any great extent. I'm talking about President Trump. He needs to be more careful going forward. And I have proposed a advisory task force, a legal advisory task force, not only to vet judges, to make sure that we get the best and brightest on the federal bench in particular, but also to recommend ways and to work with the new coming Trump administration to reform our legal system, because we've seen how politicized, how corrupt, and how weaponized it has become. And nothing is worse than the bar associations in the District of Columbia and New York, run by socialists, communists, atheists, and leftist political hacks. The District of Columbia disciplinary apparatus, the Bar Disciplinary Council, was Hamilton Fox. At one time, it was an honest organization under Gene Shipp, but it changed with him, and he became a weapon to use against conservative and Republican activist lawyers. Just recently, former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, an associate attorney general and U.S. attorney, was disbarred. Others have been subjected to investigations and complaints, everyone from Kellyanne Conway to Senator Josh Hawley and Senator Ted Cruz for their support of President Trump, like with Giuliani. Others like Jeffrey Clark, a Trump Justice Department official, John Eastman, a professor at Chapman University Law School who supported President Trump with regard to allegations of fraud in the 2020 elections, Sidney Powell, many others, including yours truly. I've been fighting them for 14 years. The people who run the District of Columbia Bar disciplinary apparatus are pure evil. There's not one of them who's ever given a dime to a Republican candidate. And they all give money because, Washington, D.C. is very politicized. People are very involved. Over 95% of the people in District of Columbia voted for Kamala Harris. That tells you something. But we also have a problem even at the lower level of the D.C. Bar Disciplinary Council, an individual by the name of Julia Porter, who lies, cheats, and steals and has victimized a number of conservative and Republican activist lawyers who's been going after me for many, many years. I fight back. I've got at least 12 lawsuits against them at this point in time. It's very, very costly. And what's incredible is that the people of the DC Bar disciplinary apparatus give themselves, through their court, the DC Court of Appeals, absolute immunity. They claim they can't be touched. They can commit unethical acts and they're not held accountable. Well, I'm seeking to prove the opposite. So one of the things that I hope to do, and I've written a letter as of today to the new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to others in the Trump administration that are incoming, to the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, to what's going to be the new chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham, to Chairman Jim Jordan of the House Judiciary Committee and also of the Committee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government, that we need to conduct investigations, because the goal of the left is to use bar associations, the disciplinary apparatus, in the District of Columbia, New York in particular, to eliminate conservative lawyers so they cannot pursue conservative objectives and goals in court. So there'll be no opposition to what the left seeks to do. And that's very important because you see, the left is fighting back over the Trump victory, as I predicted. Now they're trying to do it in what they think is a legal manner, but it's really not legal at all. But it's going to get violent, and they are going to come after us, as I've said, when they don't get what they want. And what they're doing is to try to eliminate conservative lawyers so we can't go into court to peacefully resolve issues. This is very important to you and your loved ones, because if we can't resolve disputes peacefully in a court of law, then this country is going to explode. We are going after these disciplinary council. We are going after these state bar associations. We are going after anyone who perverts the rule of law. And I ask you to go to freedomwatchusa.org to contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We are your real Justice Department. I am unafraid. You need to be unafraid. We need to fight for the preservation of our republic. We need to protect President Trump and the people around him. We need to protect ourselves and our loved ones because the left is truly evil. This is a war between good and evil. This is a war between the right and the left, and the right is right, so to speak. But it's also a war against others in between, independents, libertarians, and others. The left wants to subject us and has subjected us to a dictatorship. Under the reign of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that's what it's been. Yes, today it feels like a breath of fresh air that they lost the election. But they're down, but they're not out. They will come back and are coming back with a vengeance. Already mayors and governors are refusing to enforce the law to provide for the deportation of criminals who have run across our border, terrorists, drug traffickers, and others. This cannot be permitted. I've been working hard today. If it doesn't sound like I'm totally energetic, that's why. But in my heart, I am dedicated to having this country succeed, to become great again. President Trump cannot do it on his own. He needs us, his army, to support him. And that army resides primarily at Freedom Watch. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. Strength in numbers, strength in our ability to go into court, to conduct citizens' grand juries and citizens' trials to convict the guilty criminals that have so destroyed this country, with now the hope of a revival, of making America great again. I want you to support what we do. I want you to join Freedom Watch's Justice League. We need your financial support badly. We have not done well in the last year. The Republican rhinos have siphoned off a lot of contributions. But we need to be there to protect President Trump. He cannot do it alone. And those forces in government will attempt to stymie the cabinet officials and others who were appointed and will be confirmed. But we are unbound as private citizens. We are unbound as American patriots. And as I've said many times in the last few days, give me liberty or give me death, because we can't live under a leftist dictatorship. Enough is enough, and enough is too much, as Popeye used to say when I was a kid. I can't takes it anymore. I'll be back Monday with another special podcast. Until then, remember the Father and Son will only protect us if we help ourselves. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless all of your loved ones. God bless America. Thank you for listening to me.